Hi guys, Jessica Welman with PlayNY.com, your source for all of the gambling news related to New York State and, of course, the launch of New York online sports betting. Now, you may think nothing is happening because, frankly, the news landscape has been cricket, but here's what's going on right now, and it's all going on behind the scenes. So currently, the New York State Gaming Commission is getting itself together to open up the request for proposals period by July 1st. So they're going to put together what an RFP, a request for proposal, looks like, what elements they want to see in these proposals, and get that process open by the start of next month. The operators who want to apply to be partners with the New York Lottery and the State Gaming Commission to offer online betting then have the entire month of July to get those proposals in. That process will then close on July 31st. And that's when you may hear crickets again, but it's probably the most crucial element of what's going to define New York online sports betting. Once those RFPs come in, the state's going to weigh who's making the best pitch. And it's kind of like a game of chicken. Governor Andrew Cuomo has said he wants a rev share where the state gets at least 50%. So it'll be interesting to see just how much operators are willing to give up in order to secure one of the two licenses into this highly lucrative market. In the meantime, all we can really do on the outside is read the tea leaves a little. For example, BetMGM, which is trying to really make its name for itself in this second wave of sports betting launches and pushes, is developing a very holistic gaming product. They've got, in Michigan, poker, casino, sports betting, and now the group is getting into horse racing. BetMGM has developed a horse racing app, and it is coming to New York via a deal with the New York Racing Association. So I can't say if New York would necessarily accept BetMGM's bid, but BetMGM is doing what it can to position itself in the state. Although it's worth noting that New York is a huge horse community, what with the Belmont and Saratoga. So any horse app is going to want to be there, whether or not the accompanying sports book gets there as well. MGM may be approved by the New York Racing Association, but you know who isn't? Bob Baffert. And they were actually one of the first people to do this. This group was very early to dismiss Baffert from its facilities, including the Belmont, for this year and in the future. Now that the second positive test has come back from Medina Spirit, the Kentucky Derby winner, trained by Baffert, other groups like Churchill Downs are following suit. So don't expect Baffert in not just New York, but elsewhere. Do know, though, that New York was quick on the pickup with this one and had its decision made long before other people did. All right, Baffert's out of New York. You know who else is? Bovada. If you haven't heard of Bovada, it is an offshore sports book that claims it's fine to take U.S. customers and does so regularly, even though it is against the law. But there's one state Bovada doesn't want anything to do with anymore, and that is New York. In May, the site announced it would be pulling out of the state entirely in the wake of the legalization of online sports betting. Within the statement, Bovada said, the newly introduced regulation and its increased restriction on our players residing in New York has ultimately led to this difficult decision. Want to just point out, if you're thinking about betting on an offshore sports book, shouldn't be a difficult decision. It's legal. Don't do it. Now, they're not the first book to do this. Last year, around NFL time, FiveDimes pulled out of the entire U.S. market shortly before the NFL season. And the suspicion then was that FiveDimes was going to try and get clean and come back into the regulated space as a legal player. Don't think that's what's happening here with Bovada, though. New York's the only state it's pulling out of, but it makes sense that they're doing so. Not only does the new law and regulations put them in a tighter spot in that state, you're also going to be putting yourself in a tighter spot with the Southern District of New York Department of Justice. If you recall Black Friday, which shut down gray online poker sites in the U.S., PokerStars, Full Tilt, and Ultimate Bet, that case originated out of the Southern District of New York DOJ. So that is a group that keeps a lot of eyes on the offshore market, and with more scrutiny on sports betting in New York, there may be more scrutiny there, and Bovada wants to be sure it is avoiding any potential legal shutdown. All right, now we talked about online sports betting that hasn't happened, online sports betting you shouldn't be doing because it's illegal, leaving me with the question that you probably are asking, where can I bet in New York? Reminder, you can still bet at retail casinos here. You can do so at the commercial casinos upstate. You can do so at the most tribal casinos as well. And you may be wanting to because, certain New York teams are not too shabby. For example, the Knicks were bounced in the first round of the NBA playoffs, but the Nets are doing just fine, about to start their second round series against the Milwaukee Bucks. If you want to go see that event at Barclays Center, the COVID restrictions have it up to 25% capacity. Additionally, maybe you're a Mets fan. They're currently leading the NL East and a team to be watching. If you're a Yankees fan, you may not be watching as much. So you can go there and do that with these new eased COVID restrictions, or you can go up to these retail casinos and bet at their retail sports books there. Option C, though, you can maybe just hop across the river and bet New Jersey. That is going to continue to be your best option for online betting if you're in Manhattan for the next remainder of 2021. The hope is, though, that these RFPs will come in quickly and that the state will narrow down its choices and have more info on exactly who is coming to New York in the near future. We'll be ready when that happens here at playny.com, but in the meantime, keep checking in and we'll keep reading those tea leaves and keeping you in the loop on how New York online sports betting is developing.